painted. So this is everything I've painted so far. Get into view here. And right now I'm just going through and I'm adding highlights to this. So sorry about the camera bump. So this is kind of the direction I'm going with some highlights on the white up here. So this whole uniform is like a field gray, and then I'm doing a highlight, and then I'm going to probably bring it back down with a little glazing. So right now I've got the guys all in a pretty good spot. I'd say like they're good and they're ready to go, like be sold, but I do want to push them a little bit further in terms of contrast. So that's the goal of this little painting session here, is to increase the contrast between the gray and the shadows and the highlights, and then blend it all back down a little bit, and hopefully do that within an hour. Just have to be efficient with it. So over here I have my white, so it's basically just painting white and light gray right now, but the effect is cool when it's done. It's just a matter of thin layers and glazing to build it up, because you can go from like that one's not the best example. The dramatic contrast between these two is evident. I think I like the contrast more, especially when it's on the tabletop moving around. So I need to do the back. I've mostly done the front of this one. And I was trying to decide if I really wanted to go this route, and I did, and I said, let's go live, and we'll do it. So fuck it, we'll do it live. So I'm going to just be dipping into my paintbrush here, my paint palette, and pulling up some thin layers of white. And I want it at almost like a glaze consistency, not a super watered down dilution of the paint, but I do want it to be, so when I put it on, I don't want it to be pure white. And when it dries, it'll even dry a little, like a little, with some opacity to it. So here we've got a good example of that. This white isn't pure white when it's been thinned down this much. I just want to make sure I have moisture in the brush, but not so much that it's like we're painting with watercolors. And that's what we call a glaze. And you just lighter and lighter applications, more and more of them, bring you up to this brighter appearance. And then you can create nice blends by having a diluted paint that comes up from the shadows and then ends on the highlights. What that does is it runs very, very small amounts of paint up and over, and as you do that like multiple times, you really start to see the blending happen, and as it dries, it looks more and more natural. So right here, which I think you can see, is a good example of what is like not a great blend, because it hasn't been glazed yet. But what it does have is it has a strong highlight, sort of place for me to stop, and then it has these small little dots that are like a texture that, when glazed over, will act as the mid-tone between the two colors, like the darkest dark and the lightest light, and then that gives you a smooth transition. And that's called glazing to a highlight. And the real trick of it is controlling the amount of paint on the brush, and that is time consuming, but it's fun. I mean, I like it. You're just cleaning your brush a lot, adding water, keeping the hairs moist and not filling up too much water in this is called the furl. No, I'm sorry, this is called the belly, and then this is called the furl. So this holds all the hairs, right? And then this is where the ink sits, but try not to overfill it, especially with water. And then I like to pull it on my hand. A lot of people do this because it dries quickly, for one, but you get to see sort of like a test of the consistency, and this doesn't affect you at all. My family can always tell when I've been painting. I apologize if anyone has said anything comments wise. I have the camera above my head, so I can't exactly see the comments, and it's not showing up for me. Show chat. How do I do that? Here we go. Yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, if you have any questions, if you want to just hang out, listen to this background music with me while I paint, I will do my best to describe what I'm doing I'm not an expert at this stuff. I don't typically spend a lot of time making these perfectly smooth transitional blends, but I want to get better at it. The only way to get better is to practice. Lately, I've been painting a lot just for consistency's sake, just to keep up with it, but the intentional practice hasn't been there. So that is the goal with this. My intention with these is to sell these guys directly either to someone who wants them as a subscriber, or to open it up as a sale on eBay. So I'm going to post a video of them, how they look, and then I'll link to where you can buy it. I'm thinking right now it's going to be going up on eBay. So I just have to get them all into a standard that I like, and that's where I'm experimenting a lot with this guy, taking a bit more time, because I don't want it to be this much time on every figure. So I have to figure out how much is good enough, and then how, like, where's the value in that. I think they look really good, but they're not worth. Put it this way, they're not that detailed and they're not that expensive, so I don't really think that they're worth putting a maximum amount of hours into each one to get like maybe another $100 or something, because the very quality of them is they're on the cheaper side of Army Men toys. The guns aren't straight. They're really hard to get straight, actually, even though I've used hot water and stuff. They're all a little bendy. The hard plastic professional models, I think those are the ones where it's worth it to really explore, like maximum effort and spend the most amount of time. These guys are more for like practicing, practicing textures, making things look rough and dirty, stuff like that. These are great for that, and you get an awesome effect. But in my head, I'm not thinking they're worth as much as like a single painted, highly detailed miniature. There's just not that much detail on these to really do that. Like even the guns are sort of blobby, but it does look really good for what it is. I'm really digging the look of it. I spent a lot of time on the faces today. Last night I worked on the coats, finishing up the coats, getting the muddy tech effect. Sort of going and doing the helmets, making sure everything felt matchy. And I'm missing a sculpt for these guys, and because I thought there was 8. It was it's one of them standing upright and shooting, and I just remembered that I gave it to my mom, so that's why I don't have the 8th version of this. These come in sets you can buy from Toy Soldiers of San Diego. It's actually McShawn's Closet now owns Toy Soldiers of San Diego, as far as I understand, and this is set, I believe it says it on the bottom, it says number 4 number, so it's a number 4 TSSD 2005. But if you search Toy Soldiers of San Diego or McShawn's Closet German long coats number 4, you'll see that these come in packs of 16, and those contain two sculpts of each figure. So 2 snipers. Yeah, and that's that was about, when I bought it, it was about $26, but the prices have only gone up. So I think now they're closer to $30. So $30 for 16 Army Men. Given the quality is just like so far above everything else, and like the detail is definitely a step up above Airfix. It just is. I mean, there's just more going on. The Airfix ones are on the simpler side. I haven't seen everything Airfix has made, but comparatively, like these Germans, if I show you another German I have. So these Germans are bigger than most Army Men, and then I've got these guys. These are both Airfix. This is a vintage Airfix model. The plastic is softer, and then this is a newer Airfix model. The plastic is harder. It's also blue. he's fully spray painted. Pans are gray though. You can kind of see the blue at the bottom here. Then I painted him. So I painted these guys, and you can see like just the detail between them is worlds apart, and especially in the faces. Can you see that? Yeah. So the face is just tremendously different, right? This guy's face, the newer sculpt, is better, but he did need some cleanup. And they all have that seam line going right down the center. And I'd say that for toy soldiers of San Diego, they don't have that from what I've seen. I guess, well, no, this guy doesn't, but he does have a seam line down his nose. So there's sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but pretty much every Airfix model has a seam line right down their face. Yeah, so these guys don't have it. The guy has like just like he looks pinched, but it is a seam line that goes all the way down him. He has it, and he has one. So 2 of the 7 that are here have a seam line down the center of their face. Whereas Airfix, everyone does. So I like them in terms of the facial details. Then there's these other ones by BMC that I've painted, and they are, I don't have a great face reference for this one. This one was just whatever. He did have a seam I had to clean up. But this is the one I painted like Team Fortress 2 Soldier, and it's decent. I mean, if I could show you a gray one. If you can get them from BMC and then them not be like totally smushed and you have to edit, like this guy's gun, for example, I have to re-straighten it with hot water. So that's frustrating because it just doesn't stay. So anything that happens to it long term, heat-wise, could affect it. And they're just difficult. Like models are harder plastic and designed not to warp so much with low heat changes. So this is the kind of stuff. But the design is pretty good. I think it's like Airfix is like the lightest detailed version, but it has good detail. And then these from BMC, they're like a step up from that, but they are still sort of imperfect in their actual pressing. There's a lot of irregularities in the actual material itself. Like you can see it, especially with the painted one. It's like a lot of small smudgy shapes. I did clean this guy up a little bit with a razor, but that's not what I'm really referring to. Like just the plastic itself isn't as pull and smooth. It isn't as pulled evenly and smooth. I'd say Airfix, the newer ones, the plastic is really smooth. I didn't clean up this guy's mold lines though, so I get a lot of shit for that. But I still think he looks cool. I mean, I did clean up his face because I didn't want that line going down it. This is a good example of a good mold from BMC. The plastic itself though is very uneven. It has a lot of irregularities in it. This Toy Soldiers of San Diego ones don't do that. This just adds a lot of extra texture. So when you're painting it, it comes through. And it was actually really difficult to paint this guy because the plastic, the way it took the primer, I don't know. I really don't know how to describe it. It just eats at the plastic. The primer, the Vallejo primer I use, eats at this kind of plastic, and it can make it even rougher in some instances. And then the paint feels weird when you're painting it. Like it's not a smooth application. So again, and then models would be the 4th step up above this, which I don't know if I have any right here. Oh yes, I do. Hold on. And it's also a German soldier. So this is a model of a German soldier from, I believe this is from, oh, I can't remember the name. It's not Mars. It's some like random brand that I never really see miniatures from. I'll get the box real quick. But these guys are real smooth. They have a lot of great detail, and they have a lot of extra pieces you can attach to them. I did not do a good job assembling them. The pieces they're smaller. They're just smaller. Assembling the gun was finicky. Nothing was staying right. But I did paint one. I did paint one, and this is what he looks like. So he matches the box art. And I'll get the box real quick. So here's the box. It's Imperial German Army Stormtroopers by Meng model, which you know, I don't see much by them. I don't see them in the stores much. I paid $14.99 for this, I guess, and I painted this guy to match this guy on the cover. There is a YouTube short of me painting him, but it has almost no views. It's from about a year and a half ago. It just was, I don't know, just didn't, it never took off like the other ones, and I've never done anything else with the footage. But yeah, these guys come unpainted and unassembled, and then the pieces are very small and fragile. But I like him. He just sits on my shelf chilling, and I have the other three in a container to my right. So back to the painting. I'm gonna go back to highlighting these and then making sure that I have everything to a quality that I like. I'm just going to check, where do I get the Matchboxes? Cookie Republic asked. I don't know if you're still here. I got the Matchbox Army Men from eBay. I scoped them out. I started a couple months ago. I started scoping them out. Got a couple used boxes. Buy it now for I think $30, and then I bought two for $65 because they were just not coming up, and they were the best prices I found. They were $65 each. It was the American. No, it was the Germans and the British I got for $115. So that's like $67.50 each, I guess. And they were both sealed, so I opened them. But I also got the Americans for $50, so it's a bit of mix. But eBay is where I scope stuff out. There's no real other stores. Etsy has a few things here and there, not with boxes though. Like they have the Matchbox Army Men for sale. Some sellers have them, but they're usually incomplete. I've been looking around. There's some stores. There's one other store if you search for Matchbox Army Men that sells them. They want like $90 a box. I honestly don't know how rare they are. I mean, there's not a lot up for sale. I mean, that's some indicator. If I use my Magic the Gathering secondhand market experience, like less, you know, it's this whole supply and demand thing. But they do come up. People do sell them. And it's really just a matter of like what people want to pay. I think people think $90 is too much for most of them because they've been sitting there. There's a few of them on eBay right now that have been sitting at the $90 mark. They're also from countries outside of my own, which is the United States. So the cost plus shipping doesn't really matter. Like I don't need them. I'm glad I got them at the price I did. I think $50 for a new in-box set is a really good deal now. I mean, $30 was amazing looking back, but the boxes are pretty banged up. So if box condition is important to you as a collector, it's going to be something you're looking at, and you're going to maybe want to pay extra for it. I paid $50 for the Americans just as there was someone had to buy it now for $88, and I just put in an offer at $50, and they accepted it, so that was lucky. But they were hard to find. Now I need to. I mean, I'm not super looking super hard, but I need to keep an eye out for the Commandos because they are the last set from the 70s and 80s line that Matchbox put out. And if I wanted to be like a crazy collector, there's different variants of the box and where they were made, depending on where Matchbox was, like in the years. So there's printed in England, printed in Germany, and printed in England, Germany, and then another one, I think, I can't remember the third place they were printed. It's on the boxes and they're put away right now. But that also is reflected in the box art on the sides of the boxes. And the back too. I mean, but for the most part, the information is the same, but the typography is a little different sizes of the words. some of them say copyright 1983, and I believe some of them are copyright from the 70s. Depends what you find, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what years it was produced. I just know that in the early 90s, Revel bought Matchbox's sculpts, like the rights to all their sculpts, and I don't know what they've done with it except reproduce them, or they've done like a poor, I don't know if Revel has personally made them, but I know that they probably have been licensing out the molds to, I guess, Chinese manufacturers, and they were just getting like all these really inferior sculpts, but they are inferior pressings, but they're like the Matchbox sculpts. They're just all smushed. I was actually at my friend's house yesterday, and his son had a container of Army Men that were a mix of Airfix and Matchbox sculpts, but they were like just really smushed. I have some somewhere that I got on a used lot. So the quality isn't there anymore. I mean, it's a shame too. And I don't know, I have no idea what the agreement was. Maybe in the sale, Matchbox gave them poor worn out molds or something like that. Or the files haven't been digitized properly, so you can't get like a high resolution printout of it, or they're just doing it so cheaply because they just, want to make cheap plastic toys for people to buy. This is looking pretty cool. I'm going to check if there's any questions. If you do have questions about anything, please let me know, and I will do my best to check. I just don't have the chat up in a separate screen. I literally have to look up over the camera to see if anybody said anything. Let me know if you're digging the music. I just got copyright-free music going on right now. It's like Twitch and streamer safe. I've done these in the past before and not had any music playing. It's just dead air, me breathing heavily. I don't know if I mentioned it. I'm going to be calling this around 2 p.m. So another 32 minutes. I'm on the East Coast in the United States, so it's 1:28 here. I'm going to end at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then I think if the day goes well tomorrow, I will be streaming again at the same time, 1 to 2. And my goal is to try and make that regular every week, but we'll see. No commitments yet. It's still in flux while we sort some personal matters out. Yeah, all right. I think I'm at the risk of just overworking this guy now because I get really into the glazing, and I kind of, with the music, I'm zoning out a bit. I don't want to overwork it. So I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to pull this on the back a little bit just to get the shoulders here. Should I just leave the front or do the back? I like the backs to be simple because all the focus is in the front, so we'll do that. It saves time too. I am sadly probably going to miss the mark for monetization with the channel because the views were doing great, and I am very thankful to everyone who's subbed and even watching me now. But you need like crazy numbers to monetize, and the content just totally dropped off when school started because all the kids aren't watching shorts all day. So it's looking like I might fall short of monetization for now. And in an effort to keep the channel going, I'm going to start selling stuff I paint. So this is going to be one of the first lots that goes up, and my goal is to get the store up and running in a timely manner, something that I can operate quickly. So I will likely be using eBay to start, but I'm also looking at starting my own online store. It's just a matter of like managing the overhead on that, because that it's expensive to run a store, and eBay is free. They just take high fees. So it's either I charge a bit more to compensate for the fees, or I put up more up front to open my own store. And I'm leaning right now to doing what I've already got set up, which is eBay. I've got a good account with 100% feedback that's more than 20 years old. That's from 2003, so there's a lot of trust built into that. I think will help people with making a purchasing decision. I don't know how important it is, but it is one of the things that weighs heavily when I consider how to sell these guys. But ideally, I would like to move it to my own personal store. So if there's enough interest and I can keep up with any demand, and it becomes profitable to the point that I could make more moving over to my own store hosting, I definitely will. So that's like eyes on the long term, like that's an option. But I'll never know if I don't start putting stuff up. I sold another set of these guys on eBay earlier in the year. Not painted to this caliber, but all the same miniatures. One more miniature, one figure more actually. The guy who's standing upright, aiming his gun that I gave to my mother. So it was eight of these guys, and I had it up for an auction, and it sold for $45. And considering how much time I put into them, one guy he's actually on the channel as a short. It's another. He looks just like this guy actually. No, it's the guy who's shooting. I spent a lot of time on him, but the other ones I just did with speed paints. And the time I spent on the 7 is probably equal to what I spent on just the 1 that was of higher quality. So I was fine with that price. I mean, it was more than paid for the whole bag of guys. So these guys, if whatever I sell these guys for, I'm making profit on it. But my time is the big factor. The hourly rate for painting these guys is really low until I get to a certain number in my head. Like, ideally, so to make what I'm making at my full-time job, I would need to sell these guys for like all 7 of them. I think I probably need to sell them for like $1,000, which they're great, but I don't know how much demand there is in the miniature market for those prices. So I'm going to aim to sell these guys, all 7 of them, for, now that I'm looking at them again, originally I was thinking $75, but I'm thinking more along the lines of maybe $119. I just got to get them all to the same standard as this guy. So what do you think of that price? $119 USD for 7 painted soldiers. Granted, not every one might be looking for this set of soldiers, but the right collector might just collect everything. Who knows? What do you think? Is $119 for 7 of these guys expensive? That's cool, Cran. Just make basketball. Thanks for popping in, man. Any likes is appreciated and helps. I think it helps with the sharing. I really don't know how lives work. I spend most of my focus on the shorts, but I'm sure everything helps. So thank you for stopping by and liking the video. Sharing the video also goes a long way. I think a share has more. Well, I don't actually don't know, but I do think sharing absolutely helps the algorithm. It's like prioritizes your content if you can get, a maximum number of shares. That's how stuff goes viral. People tell other people about it. I think a lot of people think it's just like random what goes viral, but it's largely determined by what people are sharing. Like, yeah, Google pushes it to people that might like it, but those people might not be online right when you publish or something. So from my understanding, the way Google in general ranks anything is how trusted it is by, or how much it's likely to recommend it or share it by how much to new people is by how it's shared amongst regular folk that aren't the computer. Watch time also plays into it, like how long someone watches something for, and then likes and dislikes I don't think really matter, because it's really about the preference of the viewer. So likes and dislikes, I mean, if someone dislikes my video, it just tells the algorithm that they don't want to see their content. It doesn't really determine whether or not it's a good video. How YouTube is determining that is like the length of time people are watching it, if it's getting rewatches, if they're coming back to rewatch it, and then if it's being shared. That contributes to the virility of something. And then how you get to that stage is a whole other game. That's really difficult. I've been researching a lot about how to make better videos that are more engaging, because I like making them a lot, but my videos are like they're kind of all over the place with me experimenting different ideas and formats. Sometimes I talk, sometimes it's just music, sometimes they're over 10 minutes, and most of the time they're under 6. So it's just a lot of experimenting, especially in the editing process, which takes me a while because I go back and forth on all these decisions I need to make. Should I do a voiceover? Does it need one? What am I trying to like highlight and showcase? And boiling all the footage down to just a couple minutes is also a process. Figuring out what I want to talk about, if there's anything worth saying. So what I've been learning is that the idea should come first, and then the script and the thumbnail, or I guess the idea and then the thumbnail, and then the script, followed by the shooting, then the editing it all together, any post-production work, adding in graphics, stuff like that. So that's all awesome, but now I just have to change my process to focus on the idea first, whereas now it's just paint tutorials on stuff that I made. So it was like all the footage I had on stuff that I painted condensed into a video. So if I want better videos, I need an idea and a structure for the video first. Because people like the videos I post, they like that type of video, but they might not like mine for a number of different reasons. One of the things I struggle with the editing stuff is the quality drops a lot. I'm usually shooting with the iPhone, and some things are just not as high resolution as others. So there's some consistency issues I need to address as well. If I use this live footage in any future videos, it's going to be compressed. Just the way it's just the way YouTube feeds it back to you. as the creator, and you also can like do stupid little stuff like adjust the focus within the live stream app on the phone. At least I think if I used OBS and had a crazy setup, then I'd be in a much better spot. But right now, I'm sort of at the mercy of the tools that YouTube gives you. I'm going to check to see if there's any comments in 1 second. That process of figuring out what to highlight and what not to highlight. Sup to pizza, sup random guy. I don't use any Tamiya paint. It's all Vallejo. Vallejo acrylics. I like their coverage more. I like their line of game color paints. I started with Army Painter and Citadel. Army Painter, this is from years ago now though, but I switched over from Army Painter to Vallejo because Army Painters were drying a little too glossy for what I liked, and Vallejos were all flat out of the bottle. And now I think Army Painter has updated their range, but I haven't updated my inventory of their stuff since they came out with the speed paints. I have a small set of the speed paints, which I like, and I used on these guys. The Holy White is the gray color of their coats. So yeah, pretty much all Vallejo, some Army Painter speed paints, and then I have like random Citadel colors, so Games Workshop colors that I like. That came in some Warhammer paint sets that I bought in 2020 when I was getting back into painting. They just had like the basic colors I needed at a discount. So if you get the pack, the starter set, you get like a bunch of the basic colors. I was like, oh cool. So I got a bunch of those on sale. So I just have random Citadel pots, like very basic colors. And I was painting a lot of Warhammer when I started painting before I got into the Army Men. So it made sense to use their colors. I like Vallejo's range a lot more, and they have sets put together specifically for historical figures like this guy that Games Workshop doesn't. I even think Army Painters paint is more geared towards, you know, the Games Workshop style of painting. I believe they're still the affordable, like entry-level paint set, but I haven't looked at their prices in a while. I thought the speed paint line was reasonably priced for what they do, like their coverage and for getting stuff like painted on the tabletop quicker. Like, yeah, it's a pretty good price. Speed paints aren't perfect. They don't solve every issue, and if you really want to, like me, fuss and try to make stuff with extra layering, then that stuff's only good as a tool. It's a different kind of tool. Here I go, overworking this guy. Need to pull back on this. Alright, so I'll just blend this and then I will touch the back. So as I mentioned before, if I want to do this, this actually needs to have less paint on it and less water. Then I just want to pull from the darkest area up to the lightest. Still too much paint on my brush. This is what they call a glaze. My son is going to be calling me. I can hear him. That's why I was trying to get done at 2 so he doesn't lose his mind not being able to talk to me. Yes, I think I have one more pass with the glaze on this. Should be good. I'll go on to the next one. I'm not moving fast enough though for what I want to charge for these. So I think the more time I spend, the more the hours go up, the lower my hourly rate gets, which is trash. So I need to get more efficient. I need to make some more efficient choices on these next guys. I'm also talking and it's making me ramble. That's the other problem with Army Painter paints. Now I've added too much water and it's reactivated the paint, so now it's pushing around. Now I need to like push it. And it's just gonna leave streaks if I don't get to it right away. I'm gonna get some weird feathering. Alrighty. Actually, wait, this is just water. This isn't even water. This isn't even the Army Painter stuff. I've got myself all confused. This is just white acrylic, but I still did too much water and it broke back down, reactivated. Sorry about that. Blonde moment there. Okay, here we go. I don't even know if anyone's watching me right now. Oh yeah, there's 4 of you. Hello. I'm gonna check messages. I don't know if there's anything posted. Ben Shapiro. Hello. If you're still here, hello. Thank you to everyone checking out my painting. I'm just hanging out and rambling. The goal, the rest of these guys, is to be more efficient. So he's done. He looks great. He's very close to done. Comparatively, I think he has less paint on his face, but I don't want to overwork it. I do have some paint, some of the skin tone on my palette from earlier. See if I can. All I want to do is bring up a few highlights. Tell myself this so I don't overwork it. Bring out a few of these highlights on the face. Nice and smooth like, and then hopefully I can stop. Okay, so this looks closer to this. Still some like some goofy imperfections, but that's okay. I don't want to overwork it. Stop painting it, Jim. Okay, so 1, 2, I've got 5 left. Let's jump over to the machine gunner. Oh, I haven't painted his bullets yet, so we're gonna come back to him. So I can highlight this guy, and he actually needs some adjustments to his face too, because he was giving me a little bit of trouble earlier with the paint. I was painting too hastily, and I wasn't able to get it in a good spot. So let me finish this guy. I'm putting it's called Skin Tone by Vallejo. It's just straight out of the bottle, watered down. But this has all these guys had a, they were like a dry brushed black, they were painted black, dry brushed white, and then I did Army Painter speed paint, pale flesh, I think, over their faces, and it looked you know, like you'd expect, not great. So I did a layer of painting on it, and then I hit that with a bit of a wash as like a glaze using, it's called Citadel Reichland Flesh. And that toned them down a lot, gave me like a tanner complexion. But then I lost all of my contrast. I might have messed up his cheek here. I don't want to overwork them too much, but I do want to pull out some of these highlights. I'm just going to do this to all the faces real quick. I'll check to see if there's any messages in a second. This guy's got some like egregiously hard shadows on his face. It's like too much. How does that look on camera? Pretty good? Let me know. Does that look all right? Can you see that? I can't tell what's focused because on top of me having to stand on my tippy toes to look over the camera, there's a glare from the light hitting the screen, and I can't get a good sense for how in focus it is all the time. Thanks, happy baby buddy. Yeah, it depends, man. It depends on the face. I'm doing good, gray shaded minis. Ben, my goal is to sell these guys because I don't really have any use for them. I do like them. I like looking at them on the shelf, but I have no plans for them right now. Some depends on the miniature. These ones, though, I do plan on selling. So I'll be once they're ready and I have the proper photographs and video done, I'll post it to the community tab where you can buy it. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be on eBay. And you know, let me know what do you guys think you would pay for something like this. I'm not saying you as a buyer want them right now, but what would you expect to pay for 7 unique figures? You know, they're imperfect. They're just plastic injected molds, and they're not perfectly cleaned up, but they are painted to a pretty high standard. And I don't know if you were here when I was talking about it earlier, but I was originally going to set these guys at $75, and then I kept painting them more and more, and the quality kept getting higher and higher. And if I sell them on eBay, I have to consider eBay fees too. So they take a lot of money based on how much you sell. It's like a certain percentage up to a certain amount. But that amount, like they take like 18% or something crazy, 13%. I think it's 13% up to sales that total. I think it's like $3,500, and then the commission rate goes down to like some crazy low number, like 4% or 3%, which is silly. So like small sellers are always the ones that they're getting hit the hardest. It's like it's better to sell on eBay almost if you're doing a higher ticket item. But those ones are, like from my experience with selling magic cards, the higher ticket items are the ones that are most likely to get scammers involved. My hope is with the channel is to just directly reach buyers that way. This way I don't have to worry about scams, but they're out there all the time. Scammers born every day. Sorry if you guys are still chatting. I am not looking. Let me set it up on my computer here. I'm still here. I'm getting my YouTube channel set up so I can see if anyone's talking in real time. There we go. Live chat. Okay, cool. Yeah, whoa, just banged my head. So yeah, I'm going to be ending here in just a couple minutes. So I'm going to, again, and I did mention that I'm going to try and do this again tomorrow and Mondays into the foreseeable future from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern time with a, you know, going into it with a plan and hopefully getting my camera set up a bit better in the next round. I really messed that up this time. I logged in with my camera oriented the wrong way, and every time I would swap it, it would like it wouldn't stream the footage, so that sucks. Also, in the past, I wasn't able to check this time because I didn't have the stream up live. But in the past, I've had issues with the stream just stopping and being frozen, and I'd have to restart my phone screen camera, like, but not necessarily cancel the chat or cancel the stream, and that became very frustrating. It doesn't seem to have done that, as it seems to be playing right now, so that's cool. But I forgot that happened, so I need to be aware of it for next time. Yeah, and then little goal is to try and have a live stream session 2 to 3 times a week and paint stuff that I plan on selling so people can purchase it if they're interested, and then from there we'll figure out what's working with the pricing model, if it's worth it still, if I should continue selling on eBay or go with my own store, and then that'll all kind of come out of the results of posting more. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining me today. I'm going to sign off here in just 3 minutes, and I won't be able to use any of this footage until tomorrow for anything. There's a 24-hour delay before you can download your own video, your live stream, which is what it is. But for now, I'm going to keep focusing on painting these guys and hopefully get a post up with a link to where you can buy them today or tomorrow. If I finish them today, then you'll see the post in the community tab tonight. And if I'm finishing them tomorrow, I will also let you know in a community tab, what I plan on doing, and we'll go from there. So, see, because I want to be happy with them when I sell them. That's a big part of the satisfaction I get out of it. But I can't keep these guys laying around. I need to keep things moving. Hopefully somebody, likes them and wants to bring them into their house. So I need to figure out the pricing model, and we'll do that. So I'm rambling here. I'm going to sign off in just a second. This has been a cool little impromptu paint session. I'll let you know my paint schedule for the week in the community tab, and if they're ready to buy when they are, okay? Thank you, everybody. I will talk to you soon. Sorry if I missed any questions. I think I got to everybody though. It was a pretty chill chat. Low viewers, which is good because I had a whole bunch of technical issues there in the beginning. All right, I'm out of here. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you.